Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time for our quality time interview and opportunity to spend a little extra time with our next guest. And Patrick Younger, the head coach of the Ness City High School cross country team, is joining us now. Hey, Coach, appreciate your time and jumping on the show. Coming off a state championship for you, like, have you been able to kind of, I don't know, like capsule like what happened for Ness City cross country and kind of take it in, or is this still kind of fresh for you?
It is definitely still fresh, but here about a week ago, it finally started setting in. We actually here a little bit later today, we have a meeting with the Jostens ring guys. So that kind of helped come full circle and get all of us all excited. And, we've been in school now for almost 2 weeks since that. So, basketball's starting. So it's like, okay, the fall season is wrapping up. So it's definitely settled in. I'm sure here when I see family that I haven't seen in a while over Thanksgiving that they're definitely bring it up and they'll be excited. And I was fortunate enough to have two daughters on the team, so that kind of made this one a little extra special, and that's just kind of fun enjoying it with them also.
All right, so you've had some experience picking out rings, but has anything changed? Like, what's going to go on that ring? Any ideas?
Uh, Price for sure has changed, I think, since the last time. But no, I told my assistant coach, and my assistant coach, he's actually been, he was one of my former track kids here about 10, 15 years ago. So that's put age on me. That's how old I'm getting. But it's exciting to share it with him. And I told him, I said, I waited 15 years for this one. So we're blinging out. We're going all out on this one. So that's been kind of fun putting that together.
You talk about that gap right there. I mean, anytime you can win multiple state championships, no matter how far apart they are, is awesome. So you guys, Ness City, able to win it back in 2010, and now again here in 2025. For you, can you compare those experiences? I mean, did it feel about the same in the makeup of the team? Like, can you compare those two teams?
Yeah, I think so. In 2010, I was actually fortunate enough both boys and girls won, so that was exciting to have the whole team basically experience that. Our boys, they got second this year. We were, I mean, we did about as well as we could have done with that group. So even though they only got second, we still, we're all kind of one big team, one big family. We kind of call ourselves. But yeah, comparing the two, I would say both groups of kids just. It was one of those deals where they set a goal at the start of the season, and actually, I've had most of the seniors since junior high cross country. So a lot of them I've had for 5 or 6 years. But this has kind of been a goal and set, like I said, over these years that both groups just they were going to do everything they could, not just in the summer training and in the fall, but also in track. Just every season kind of ties in and rolls into the next one, and just both groups, just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of close relationships with them, and a lot of trust that goes into that. That they trust the training. They know that I'm not going to have them do anything that would be detrimental to the team or anything like that. And all the families are pretty close. So it has been 15 years, but it a lot of similarities just in the sense that there's just a lot of great kids, not just on the course, not to be cheesy, but also, academically as well. And just hard work, obviously, is and talent is going to be similar to both as well. But just a great group of kids, no matter the year.
You end up beating on the girls' side to South Gray by 39 points. Obviously, South Gray has had that really good run that they've been on. It's like for you, like what was the mindset going into the state meet? Did you have a good feeling about your chances going in?
Absolutely. Other than one of my daughters is a freshman, and I knew whether she was going to be placing on our team. In 1A, you just need top four to score. So whether she's going to be top four or not, I knew she was going to be important. If nothing else, beat some of the other teams, fourth, fifth, sixth runners. And so I knew one way or another she's going to be important. And she was absolutely freaking out all week going into that, just being a freshman. So outside of her, she was the kind of the young one that I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But with the other group that I've had for, like I said, those seniors for 5, 6 years, I felt pretty good going in. I knew the training was there. I can say this now. I didn't want to jinx it during the season, but we were pretty healthy all the way through, and I don't think so much luck plays into winning a state championship, but a lot of things have to go right. Some people might call that luck, but we were very fortunate to be healthy all season with those girls for the most part. And so I felt pretty good about that. And even the night before, I was talking to my assistant coach in the hotel room, and I said, it makes me nervous. It's not so much that we didn't prepare them well. It's just, man, you never know, what the mindset of a high school kid going into a big race like that, knowing that, like I said, most of them, they put in 4, 5, 6 years going into this. You never know what, you can't get in someone else's head. So I felt pretty confident with like I said, with our training, how we kind of came together all year, the trust factor, all of that. But you just, like I said, you never know waking up how each person is going to feel. And so going into it, I did feel pretty good. I was actually just talking to my brother here the other day, and he asked me a very similar question on that. How'd you feel going in? And I compared 5 years ago when these seniors, or 4 years ago when these seniors were freshmen, and both, I don't remember off the top of my head what they placed, but both boys and girls got a plaque their freshman year at state. And I told them I was freaking out as a coach, but as a coach, I can't freak out in front of the kids, or I'm just going to make them freak out too. And so I was joking with him that I had to go to the trees on the other side of the road and just have a quick 10 minutes with myself and just kind of unfreak myself out. But so fast forward 4 years to a couple of weeks ago, is like I didn't have that freak out moment. I did feel pretty confident that, now whether I knew it was going to be enough or not, but I felt pretty confident that the girls were excited and they were going to do everything they can to do the best that they can. And I told them the night before, that's ultimately all I want as a coach. Like, no matter what place we get, just be able, when the race is over, if you can answer to yourself that you gave it everything you can, that's all a coach can ask for. And they did, and we were fortunate that was enough. So,
gosh, I wish there was a video that existed of you out there in the trees somewhere. But
I was puking about 3 times. I truly was, and I honestly don't even know if I've even told the kids yet. I probably should, now that they're seniors, and we accomplished what we wanted to do. But yeah, no, I was totally freaking out. That was, I've coached, like I told you earlier, 21 years, and that was, doesn't matter the sport. That was the one time that I just had a freak out moment as a coach. But anyway, it was a fun story. I'll definitely have to tell the kids here at some point.
You mentioned, trying to gauge the, the mindset of a teenager going into, that type of an importance of a state meet. Like for you, as easy as it is as a coach to say, hey, just, run your race. How much different is it when you do get to state and, just all the other factors that go into that high caliber of a meet?
Well, 100%. And as a coach, I try to get them, whether they listen to me or believe me or not, I don't know, but they, if they're faking it, they fake it well, I guess. But I try to give them some other things, like whether it's race tactics, just to get their mind off of what our ultimate goal is. And it's hard. I mean, if you just live 24/7 just thinking about our goals, and you're gonna make yourself sick on that. So I try to give them other things to think about, whether it's race strategy, kind of, I know it's cliche and cheesy, but just it's one person at a time. When you see a person in front of you, just catch that person, then the next person. But no, and a lot of times too, like I've done it long enough that I can tell if they're kind of, when they're quiet and they haven't said anything for a while, it's like, okay, they're probably, maybe not freaking out, but they're kind of getting in that zone and getting in their head a little bit. So I try to tell them a joke and try to get their mind off of that. I don't know, just try to, I'm one that, I don't know, if you come to our practice, I mean, we definitely work hard and it's very structured. However, it's pretty loose atmosphere too. Like there's a lot of joking. There's a lot of, giving each other a hard time back. And it goes both ways. I mean, I told them, yeah, I'm your coach, but man, treat me not necessarily as a friend, but I mean, you can joke with me and, whatever. And so we keep a loose atmosphere. So like, when everyone, I tell them all the time, if you see someone just, being that overly nervous and stuff like that, like, man, just go pick them up and, try to make them laugh and stuff like that. So, little stuff like that. However, I mean, a lot of times it's harder said than done, but, just little things like that. The other thing too is, there's different parts of the race of the Wamego course. There's quite a few hills. So, it just reminding them, man, whenever you see a hill, just fly down the hill. And that kind of helps you think about something else. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But, I try to do as best I can to try to give them something else to think about than the actual race and knowing that you got to beat this team or that team.
You mentioned your daughters, and I got to imagine that, win or lose, it was still probably a really fun experience for you to be able to coach your daughters. But to be able to share that type of an experience of winning a state championship, what that mean for you, just even as a dad?
Cool. I mean, I know that's just a one-word answer, but it was pretty cool. It was pretty special. My sister, she came when my oldest daughter, she's a senior, when she was a freshman, when they had success there that I mentioned earlier, she was there, and that was just special to have my sister there. That was the first time my sister has been to a cross country meet since I was in high school, or maybe one in college. But that was cool to just have her there. And then I told her, I was like, dude, you made it. When Hannah, that's my oldest daughter, when she was a freshman, made it there. You've got to come now that she's a senior, and now I got, you got another niece that's a freshman. I was like, now we got two. It's like, you got to be there. And I was like, hopefully you can be there and we can do well. And so that was cool to have there. But then to have, both people, I tell them you can get a trophy. That's cool. But then, and at the banners in our high school, they actually have all the names of the coaches and the kids that won the state title actually have their names on the banners. And I was like, the trophy case, that's cool, but your name isn't going to ever leave the gym. And that's just cool to have two daughters there. I mean, if you break a school record in something, as I say, records are supposed to be broken, but they can't ever take that banner down. And I don't know, it's just a cool thing. And even if we wouldn't have won, I mean, just the success and the memories that this team made is, I'll regardless of what happened at the end of the season, I'll always remember the season. But yeah, to have two kids to share it with, and just see how hard they worked and all the girls worked. Yeah, it was very special. It was very emotional. I will say that. But yeah, with all those factors, I mean, it's a season I won't ever forget.
Coach, congratulations again. I'm excited to see those rings. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the girls didn't go too blingish, but yeah, my assistant coach and I, we're kind of going all out, and I'll definitely have to show it to you.
All right. Excited about it. Appreciate the time, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
That is Patrick Younger, the head coach of the Ness City High School cross country team, coming off their state championship.